Let's try this one again. There we go. All right. Appreciate that, Kenneth. Sorry about that, folks. Everybody, welcome to our weekly mobile coaching session. My name is Patrick France, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Glad to be with you guys. Should have the audio coming through now for you guys. Shouldn't have any issues with that. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Jay, Mark, Jim, Kenneth, Drew. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Yeah, we're going to work on our lip reading skills today. All right, we should be live both on Facebook and over on our YouTube page. So welcome, everybody. Hopefully you guys are having a good morning so far. Hopefully you guys are ready to see some of the new changes we have coming out for the mobile app. They should be live now. So everybody, if after today's stream, if you haven't updated already, go into the App Store or update the app. I will say this, though. If you are on Android, I would wait a little bit before updating. Right now, for some reason, Android seems to be having a few issues. iPhone or iOS seems to be working just fine. It mainly seems to be the Android side that's having some issues with the graphs and all that. So, but today, as always, we're going to be working on the iPad. So therefore, we shouldn't have any hiccups with that. But just wanted to throw that out there before for any Android users. What you're going to be seeing here, you're going to have the same capability. But just be patient. We have our development team already looking at it to see what's going on and get that working properly for you guys out there. All right. So with that, let me see. Why is Facebook not showing we're starting up? Maybe now it is. 1 second. Oh, there we go. So now Facebook has officially started. We should be good now on both Facebook and on YouTube. So once again, welcome everybody. This is our mobile coaching stream that we do every single week where we talk about the VectorVest Stock Advisory app. The VectorVest Stock Advisory app is by far the most comprehensive trading app out there to help you manage your portfolio on the go. So if you guys like these sessions, as always, feel free to smash that like button because that helps us out with the YouTube algorithms and it doesn't cost you a thing. And even if you don't like it, then smash that dislike button, whichever one you choose to do. That's fine with me. But if you're new here and you like today's session and you want to see more of these, make sure, as always, click that red subscribe button to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications by clicking on that little bell icon. So that way you get notified for all the new content we have coming out for you weekly and all the streams that we have as well. Did you already cover the Android problem? Yeah. So Badger, I did note that if you are on the Android side, there is a little bit of an issue with the graphs currently. So just be patient. Our development team already is aware of this. I reported it to them this morning and they're already working on that. So that should be hopefully fixed in the very near future. They didn't give me any timelines because I just told them that. Then I had to come get ready for today. So I haven't talked to them since I reported it to them, but they are working on that though. So there you go. 200 likes and Patrick will grow his beard until we reach new all-time highs. Mash, I will definitely do that. If you guys want to do that, if we can get 200 likes today, I will grow my beard. And then when we have something coming up in the winter time, like we did last year, maybe we can make that a donation goal there. You know, that's one of the things I wanted to do for the next Trading for Charity event. Whenever we have that, you know, set some donation goals so that way it can make it more fun for you guys. And maybe make a donation goal of shaving the beard off. Who knows? It would be a high goal though to get to that point. Just letting you know. All right, so there we go. So with that, once again, let's go ahead. As always, we're going to jump right into the VectorVest Stock Advisory app. Take a look at the homepage, see what's going on with the overall market. Then we'll dive into our topic of discussion. Then as always, if you have stocks that you want to see analyzed, make sure to stick around towards the very end and I'll analyze any stock that you have in less than 10 seconds with the advisory app here. So as always, if you notice, there is a slight change here. So we're going to change the pace up a little bit. And we'll come back and talk about this in in more detail in a few moments. But starting off now at the very top, we get the major indices. This is the default layout. And so looking at the Dow right now, it's down 0.4%. NASDAQ is down about 0.2%. S&P 500 is down about 0.4%. VectorVest Composite down over 0.5%, closer to that 0.6% range. Right now, that's pushing our needle 2 ticks into the red. Therefore, the color guard is somewhat bearish, and VectorVest does not advocate buying any stocks at this time. As always, if you ever want an updated description or a detailed description of what you're looking for or what's going on in the market, make sure to watch that daily market update every single night where we cover what's going on here today, what to expect for tomorrow, what news you need to be aware of, and how to prepare yourself for the next trading day. So in essence, it basically makes sure that you never get caught off guard with what's going on in the market. Ravi, if you want to see those stocks analyzed, stick around till the very end, and I'd be glad to analyze those for you though. All right. Session is over because someone reached out to me. I have questions. Very new to this. So Kenneth, great question. If you ever have questions while going through the stock advisory app, always feel free to give our support a call. That's where I started off at originally, many years ago. But our support team is there to help you out with navigation, any issues you're experiencing, and also, you know, coaching to make sure you're getting the information you're looking for. So anytime you have questions on the mobile app, make sure, as always, you know, just give our support a call. They'd be glad to spend some time with you, helping you out and making it as easy as possible there for you. All right, so we talked about the market timing gauge. We talked about the daily market update. As always, we want to analyze the overall conditions of the market. We take a look at the color guard. And the color guard is where we analyze the overall trends based off 3 key indicators here. And that's going to be price, which is looking at the prices of VectorVest Composite, which is an arithmetic indexed average of about 9,200 stocks, if I recall correctly, currently. And this gives you a better representation on what's actually going on in the market, because it's not just looking at the Dow's 30, NASDAQ's 100, or the S&P's 500, but it's looking at 9,200 stocks out there. The next indicator, and David coming in as a new subscriber. Welcome to the VV Nation, David. The next indicator we're going to be focused on is the RT, or relative timing. And this is cast on a scale of 0 to 2 and is looking at the short-term trend of the market. So if it's below that level of 1, as it is now at 0.86, that tells us the short-term trend of the market is currently down. And when we see that red light appearing there, that tells us it's now lower day over day and week over week. The next one is the buy to sell ratio, or BSR, which is looking at the overall health of the market by analyzing the number of buy rated stocks in a database, the number of sell rated stocks in a database. So if it's below 1 like it is now, that tells us there's more sells than buys out there, or overall market weakness. And once again, we see it's turning red because we're moving lower day over day and week over week. Now, Muhammad is asking a good question. Why is the price not red? Well, to get that red light, we would have to be either yellow or red 5 trading days earlier. It can't go from green to red over a 5-day trading period basis. So if we count back 5 trading days earlier, or June 2nd, we see that green light showing in the price column. So therefore, the worst case scenario we could see in that is a yellow light there, which is what we see. But after the buy to sell ratio, we then get the MTI, which stands for the market timing indicator. Now, once again, this is going to be cast on a scale of 0 to 2, and above 1 would indicate the underlying trend of the market is up. Below 1, underlying trend of the market is down, as we can see now. And then after that, we then look at the trend column, which shows 2 parts to trend each and every day. And the first part is what we like to call the primary wave. This is by far the most aggressive timing that we have here. It's looking at the short-term or simply weekly trend. And as we can see, it is down since the price of the VectorVest composite is lower than it was compared to 5 trading days earlier. So looking at that price, right now we're trading at 57.16. 5 trading days ago, we were at 58.06. We would have to see a pretty big run here in the market, which, I mean, I gotta admit, we've seen crazier things happen here, but we need to see a pretty big run in the market here today to turn that price back to green, and also to see a primary wave up situation. So based off what we currently see right now, most likely we'll finish off with that primary wave down signal as of the close today. And you can see, if you look at that over the last few days even, we've had a lot of back and forth movement with the primary wave, mainly because we've been moving sideways. We've had some choppy markets over the last few days, and we're going back and forth and back and forth. Market's really looking for that direction or directional guidance that, you know, could help us identify when we should jump on board or which way we should be playing the markets here. So after that, the second part is looking at the underlying trend, or just simply the MTI. And since the MTI is below 1, obviously the underlying trend of the market is going to remain down. And then last but not least, we always look at the calls column, which stands for our confirmed calls. And our confirmed calls are our most conservative timing system here. They're our last signal we get to get into the market, and our last signal we get to get out. So as you can see, we still remain in that confirmed down situation as of today. Bill's asking, do you think it's too late to get into Facebook before earnings today? Bill, if you want to see your stocks analyzed, as always, stick around towards the very end and we'll analyze those stocks for you in less than 10 seconds. So make sure as always, stick around to the very end if you want to see some stocks analyzed. All right. And then last but not least, now we're going to finish off with the advanced declines. If ever you're looking for a good day to buy or a good day to play the market to the downside, you should always check up with the advanced declines to make sure we have a 2-to-1 bias. Why? Because if we see that 2-to-1 bias, that tells us the odds or the probability is in your favor that the trade you get into today will have a nice little running start, if you will, or getting that cushion, if you will, creating that little bit of wiggle room that will help you be able to really remove your emotions out of your position, or remove your emotions out of your trading. Nobody ever likes to start off a trade in the red. Well, if you can have the probability on your side that you're starting off that trade in the green, that gives you a little less worry there, and allows you to really stay systematic to your trading. So therefore, the market was moving, markets are moving lower right now, so we want to see a 2-to-1 bias to the decline side. Well, we have about 19% of stocks moving higher and about 67% of stocks moving lower. Clearly well over that 2-to-1 ratio. So if we're going to be playing the market, obviously our bias should be to the downside here right now. All right, so that's going to be it for the overall overview of what's going on in the market. Let's jump into some of the new features that we have in the stock advisory app. And once again, this is all done on the iOS side. The Android side is out, but there's a few little issues with the graphing currently that our development team is working on. So if you're on Android, give it a little bit of time before updating. Just my personal recommendation. It'll make it easier for yourself in the longer run. All right. So as you probably noticed at the very top, Whenever you first update the app as well, you'll get some little walkthroughs that'll show up here, um, giving you some insight on how to really utilize this as well. But it is now making it easier to get the information you're looking for. So as you can see, we do have the major indices at the top instead of the bottom. But the cool thing about this is if you hold down on any one of them, they'll start to move around, and this is where you can really customize it. So you could move, let's say, this one. Oh, let's click on it. Move it over here. There you go. Just drag and drop, or however you want it set up. Another cool feature, you can now add individual stocks or other indices if you want to see those as well. So if we go ahead and put that in, let's see. Somebody was talking about DRV earlier, so let's type in DRV. Why is it not? Why is it telling me authorization? What? Hold on, one moment. There we go. Let's pull this back up. Now everything should be good. All right, so tapping on that plus symbol. Oh, tapping on the plus symbol, it'll ask you to type in the symbol. So type in DRV. And now if we hold it down, we can move it around and move it to exactly where we want it. We had another one. Another request was Facebook. Let's go ahead and type in Facebook. FB. Why is it not showing up? Am I missing it here? Did it change? Meta, there we go. So it's now changing or trading under Meta. So interesting. Okay. So yeah, you can see, you can customize this, put all the stocks that you want to see, or if you have main holdings that you're trading and you want to be able to get to that information quicker, all you got to do now is put it at the bar and you can customize it. You can click on this button as well, the add stocks or index. You can add them that way. So it makes getting the information you're looking for as fast as possible. So let's go back and let's say we tap on DRV. Instead of having to go to that little magnifying glass or go to a watch list or anything, you can just simply tap on it right from the home page now and get the analysis. So as always, you get the quick little mini graph. You can see the RV, RS, RT, VST, all that information. Below that, you get the extended information. So if you wanted to drill in a little bit more, tap on the graph, and then you get your graph settings or graph setup just like you normally would have it. So right now, what we're seeing here is the price shown in candlesticks. We have a 30-day weighted moving average on price, and then below that, the MACD at the bottom. So therefore, you go through your analysis, and that way you can check in on your stock even quicker here. If we go back, take it out. To remove a stock, all you got to do is simply hold it down, and you get this little gray icon in the upper left. Tap on that. It'll instantly remove them right out of the list there for you. So, just some, features here to, once again, to make your investing and make everything that you're doing on a daily basis as simple and as fast and efficient as possible here. With that, once you have, let's say, a stock that you're looking at, and we got Wilson coming in as a new subscriber. Welcome to the VV Nation, Wilson. So let's go ahead. Let's say you're putting in, what's another stock that you guys were looking at there? Going through, just looking CEI. Let's say CEI. You got CEI here. Tapped on it. You can quickly look at it, but then you can also use the notifications. So we set up an alert, create a new alert. Let's say you wanted to see price cross that dollar mark. That way, instead of having to constantly go back and forth, you're just simply, letting the app do the work for you and notifying you once this price level has been reached. So you click on create, and then, you go about your day, you're working, and all of a sudden you get the alert saying, hey, CEI just met the criteria that you set up for that alert. You pull up the app, you go right into your list, just tap on it, and you can get all the information you're looking for to make your decisions at that much faster here. So really, just ease of, or to help out with the overall usage and make it, is once again, as easy as possible. We've added some new features to be able to take care of this a lot easier. So, want to delete it. 400 likes, Patrick will shave his head bald. That one I may have to pass on there, Mash. I don't know if I could do the full head or shaving my head bald there. I don't know. Never been my thing. Our alerts in real time. So Michael, it all depends on what data feed you're in. If you're just on the mobile app, everything is streaming just on a 15-minute delay, as noted at the top there. If you're on the desktop and you have the real-time desktop application, then this is a great companion tool, and everything in here will be real-time as well. So in that sense, yes. But if you're on the 15-minute delay and you set up the alert, it'll be based off of that 15-minute delay pricing there. So that is one thing to keep in mind. But even, if you're looking at it, if you're using these throughout the day, most likely, one, you're not day trading the stock. So therefore, making sure you get that instant alert the second it hits it, isn't the biggest worry. It's more about, waiting for that initial entry, especially if you're a swing trader, getting as close as possible to that entry that you're looking for. And actually, a 15-minute delay probably could help you, because that way, you get that alert 15 minutes later, you can go and check on it and see exactly if, you're getting followed through, or if it was a failed attempt. Let's say it was at a level of resistance. You hit that point and it starts pulling back. Well, now you see that that level may not have been really able to sustain itself. So Jay is saying it would be great if we could log in both the desktop version and the app at the same time. I agree, Jay. I have said this since day one that I started working here. Unfortunately, it's not really possible due to the legal aspects of things. The contracts for data provider, all of that, have it restricted. Same as like TD Ameritrade, for example. If I have Thinkorswim up on my computer and I try to log in to Thinkorswim on my phone or tablet, it'll log me out of the desktop, or it'll log me, or if I close the app and pull it back up, the app logs out. So it does restrict you on that as well. It's something with the data provider agreements that restricts that more so than us just saying, oh, you have to use one or the other. So yeah, unfortunately, that's really out of our hands. We don't really have a whole lot of control over that. But I agree, it would be awesome to see that. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot from our end that we can do to make that happen. So yeah. All right. So with that, let's go ahead, talk about the other aspect of things. Let's go through some typical daily moves here of what you would do if you're an investor. Pull up the mobile app, you're going through, seeing what the major indices are doing, see that, the market is bearish. Okay, we've got 2 red lights. We've got a lot more decliners and advances. Maybe I want to get into a contra ETF, for example, or see, what is moving that I could jump on board with. Well, let's go ahead, jump into the stock pick ideas over on the left. And let's just go with high momentum stocks, for example. Go through, find some. Ooh, Glenn picked SJT in his stream in our stream yesterday, down 8% here today. And then so you come through. Let's say you like PHX. Everything's looking good. You go through the analysis. This is an aggressive stock. You have a good long-term potential with it. You have a little bit more risk associated with that potential, though. You're in a really strong uptrend. I like this stock. So at that point, you go right to the home page here. Actually, let's see if this is. Yeah, it's not in the features yet, but I'm gonna get them to add that, to link it directly to the home page from this little toolbox there. So PHX, you like that stock? Go to the home page, tap on that little plus symbol. PHX is right there because that's the last one we looked at, and now we've got it in our list. So that way, if you have, let's say, a handful of stocks that you're going through, and you want to keep up to date with what they're doing throughout the day. Well, you could build that little shopping list essentially right there, put it in the top of the homepage for you. So that way you're not having to, one, create a new watch list every day, or, managing that watch list every day. You're just right here on the homepage. And two, it allows you to get access for what you're looking for quicker than ever before. So this is a great other way of utilizing this. So that way you can, stay more focused on what you're looking for rather than having to come in and do a whole bunch of click throughs on the left-hand side or, going through different aspects of it just to get to the same information. So we like PHX. Let's go ahead and go back to the stock pick ideas. Let's see. Let's go to the premium watch list. Coming down, taking a look at the indexed ETFs bearish. Looking at it here. Main focus is RT whenever you're looking at ETFs. I like what I'm seeing with SQQQ. So go to the overview page or the home page. Tap on that little plus symbol, SQQQ. Move this over. There we go. So as you can see, I'm building that shopping list. For anybody who tunes into our Jockey Club and you see what we go through on the pre-market prep, you know that, we take a look at what's going on in the market. We take a look at pre-market activity, take a look at headlines. And then my favorite section, as I say every week, is when we find the movers and shakers or stocks that are popping or dropping, moving along with the market. I build that shopping list on a daily basis to get ideas of what to look for right out of the gate. Well, that's mainly from a day trader standpoint, and I do that because as a day trader, the most volatility you see in the markets are typically that first 30 minutes to an hour when the market opens and the last 30 minutes to an hour when the market closes. So having that shopping list that you can do pre-market or get ready pre-market allows you to find or take advantage of that volatility right out of the gate in the morning. So this is a good way to, help keep yourself organized, see what's going on in the market, also be able to have the stocks that you have ready to go for your watch list or your shopping list ready. Right here, all the information you need. So that way you can make that decision quicker and be able to trade these a lot more efficiently for yourself. Bill's saying I have two screens open and Thinkorswim. So two screens is not the same, unless I'm misunderstanding what you're writing there, not the same as, having two logins on two different accounts or two different devices there. So maybe I'm misinterpreting what you're saying, but slightly different than what I was talking about there. Also, hey there, Victor. Hopefully you're doing well. Tuning in on Facebook here today. Glad to have you here. All right. So once again, this is basically to make your lives a little bit easier. As always, that's what we're looking for here. We're looking to make your investing as simple and easy and efficient as possible. So any of these little changes, while they may seem, relatively small at first, can be used in lots of different ways to help just make you more efficient and, allow you to free up more time to be able to enjoy life and do things that you'd rather be doing rather than sitting at a computer all day long. So let me know if you guys have any questions on what we covered here today, or if there's anything, any suggestions that you guys have right off or at initial glance here, and I'd be glad to write those down because, as always, your guys' recommendations and your guys' insight does go directly into our development phases because we want to make sure our users get exactly what they're looking for. So if there's something specific that you guys find helpful or that you guys could feel could be more optimized, by all means, let us know. Let me know. I take down those notes and I report them. So that way, you get the most comprehensive trading tools right at your fingertips here. All right. So with that, that's going to really do it for this portion of it. If you guys have stocks that you want to see analyzed, go ahead, start putting those in. We'd be glad to start analyzing those. Also, I see we got over 120 people here today and only 36 likes. If you guys have been enjoying yourselves, if you guys are excited about this, smash that like button. Doesn't cost you a thing, so you might as well do it. And if you're not enjoying yourselves and you're still here, well, first off, thank you for being here, I guess. But smash that thumbs down button. That's fine with me. If you guys don't like it, smash the thumbs down button. That's fine. Let's see. Nice changes. Thanks. Awesome. Love seeing that. Could you show again how you put an alert on price? Sure, Fayez. Fayez, I think. Hopefully I'm not butchering that there. All right, let's go take a look at PHX. So whenever you're on this screen that gives you the basic information, gives you the quick little snapshot of your chart, all you have to do right next to the price, you get that little bell icon in the upper right-hand corner. Simply tap on that, and this is where you can set up the notifications. So create new. You can put in your price alert, what price that you're looking for to be notified on, whether it goes above or below a certain level. You set that up and then just tap on the create button and then you're all set. And then if you want to manage them, you can go to manage active stock alerts. Go ahead, delete that one we just created. And then there you go. All right, so I'm getting a few requests. Let's go ahead, start to take a look at them here for you guys. First and foremost, Apple. Let's go ahead, take a look at it. AAPL right at the top of the list already for us. All right, so when looking at analyzing any stock with VectorVest, the main focus is the 4 indicators at the bottom. VectorVest keeps it simple for you by putting them on a scaling of 0 to 2. All you have to remember is above 1 is good and below 1 is bad. So the first indicator we look at is RV, or relative value. This is looking at the long-term potential of the stock over the next 1 to 3 years. And since it's above 1 at 1.27, that tells us Apple, no surprise, has good long-term potential over the next 1 to 3 years. The next indicator is the RS, or relative safety. This is looking at the amount of risk in the stock compared to the average stock out there. So above 1 at 1.24 tells us there is less risk associated with this stock currently as well. Third indicator is more of that technical indicator. First 2 are fundamental, third one's more technical. So RT is looking at the short-term price trend of the stock. Above 1, uptrend. Below 1, downtrend. So at 0.93, it is in a slight downtrend currently on a short-term basis. Then the combination of these 3 indicators are comprised to come up with the overall VST, standing for value, safety, and timing. And as we can see, 1.14, overall the stock is favorable. However, if you're going to be buying it, we advise buying stocks that are rising in price in a rising market. So if the RT isn't rising, yes, it's a good fundamental stock, but we still need to wait for that timing to pick back up a little bit. I don't have a bell on the price. So make sure that you are on the premium version first and foremost in the upper left. But then it should be right next to the price action. You should see that little bell icon there. All right, so looking at it, just going quickly through it. Apple, good long-term potential, less risk associated with it. You have a slight downtrend currently, so that's the one thing, turning us off currently on it. Overall, though, stock is favorable. If we go take a look at the next one, Amazon, AMZN. So Amazon, this stock, poor long-term potential, but does have solid fundamentals or good earnings reports, so less risk associated with it. You are in a strong decline currently. Overall, the stock is not favorable. I never thought I'd see the day that GameStop has a higher price point than Amazon does. Kind of interesting. Let's see. Next one, AMD. AMD. So just to show how fast you could really go through analyzing any stock, once you become comfortable with the indicators, it makes it really simple. So for AMD, for example, this stock has good long-term potential. It has less risk associated with it. However, it is in a slight decline currently, so it's a good stock, but not the right time to be long in it. Less than 10 seconds, and I've got all the information I need to be able to make an informed decision on my investments. That's what VectorVest is all about, is to help simplify it and give you the information you need to be able to make an informed decision, rather than just giving you scads of data that you would have to analyze on your own and spend potentially up to hours coming up with that same conclusion. All right, let's see. CVNA as a short. Let's see. CVNA. Poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. It's basically in a steady free fall. Overall, the stock is not favorable. Let's go ahead and take a look at the graph. As a short trade, go with the trend. Let the trend be your friend on this one. Yeah, I like the short trade. Now, just be careful, though. It has been steadily declining for quite some time, from almost $400 a share down to where it's at now at $20 a share. The only thing I'd be a little concerned with is that, how much more downside is there? And the people that were shorting it at the initial, onset of that rollover may be getting ready to protect some of their profits. So be careful with that aspect of it. But as long as you have stops put in place that will manage the position, that should help reduce that risk and keep you on the right track. BLKN, or BL, did I miss it? BLNK. Oh, there we go. BLNK. Poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with this stock. It's in a steady decline on a short-term basis, so overall the stock is not favorable. GME. GME, poor long-term potential, a little bit more risk than the average stock out there. It is in a slight decline currently, so overall the stock is not favorable right now based off the analysis there. But hopefully that changes today. Hopefully we see some big news. I know there's a lot of hype around this date today. So expect nothing, but hey, there's always a chance. CHPT. Oh, nope, not the right one. ChargePoint. Poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. It is now in a slight uptrend, but not enough of an uptrend to offset the amount of risk involved with the stock, so therefore it is not favorable currently. Let's see, DQ. DQ, good long-term potential, less risk associated with it. You're in a strong short-term uptrend. Overall, the stock is favorable still. No surprise coming out of energy. Uber, UBER. Uber, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. You're in a steady decline. Overall, not favorable here. It's interesting from this standpoint, with gas prices going up, I'm surprised we're not seeing even a slight uptick in, these rideshare companies, because could make it more efficient and more affordable for people to travel or to, go from the neighborhood to work, or, go from point A to point B over a local area. Could make it more efficient than having to pay for gas on your own. So this could be an interesting one to keep an eye on as we move forward, but right now, still not favorable. USO. When looking at an ETF, all you got to focus on is the RT. If it's above 1, the ETF is favorable. If it's below 1, the ETF is unfavorable. 1.47, really strong short-term uptrend. So overall, stock is favorable still. Carvana is a terrible stock, but shorting, you risk a buyout. Yeah, and that's one thing to keep in mind. Is it's gone from almost 400 down to 20. How much potential to the downside is there still left in that play? That's the only thing. But with stops could manage that a little bit, or still keep you protected. So, while you can't hit a home run without jumping into the stock, the stop should help manage it, so that way if you get striked out, you don't take a huge loss. Alto, ALTO. Alto, good long-term potential, but a little bit more risk associated with it. However, you're in a steady decline still, so overall the stock is not favorable here. VST. Good long-term potential, but does have more risk associated with it. You're in a nice steady uptrend currently, so overall the stock is favorable. AUVI, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. However, there is some strong momentum behind this stock right now with the RT at 2.0. It's up 57% so far today alone. Overall, stock is favorable right now for you short-term momentum traders out there. FTNT. There we go. FTNT. A little bit better than average long-term potential. Solid fundamentals, so less risk associated with it. You are in a slight uptrend. Typically, though, I will give out, my preference personally is seeing that RT at 1.1 or higher. If it's below 1.1, that tells us it's sort of moving sideways. It is in a slight uptrend, but doesn't have a whole lot of strength behind it quite yet. So therefore, I'm a little cautious with that, but overall, stock is favorable here. If it's a buyout, it gaps up 20% that next day. Yeah, stops aren't going to really manage it, but a 20% loss is a lot better than what it could be on a short trade like that. And that getting into the short, or getting into a short trade to begin with, the amount of risk involved potentially with it. But also at the same time, the stock was at 350 to 400. Now it's trading at 20. So how much of a buyout price are they going to, be able to put above that current level that would make it, really attractive for the company or Carvana to say, yeah, we'll make that deal. So, maybe 25, 30 maybe. But they're not going to be close to that, $100 to $200 range that, even half of what it's lost already. All right, let's see. Exro, EXROF. Exro, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. It's a speculative stock, no surprise there. It is in a slight decline currently with the RT at 0.96. RT has been bouncing around between 1 and slightly below 1. So really flat overall on a short-term basis. Overall, though, the stock is not favorable currently because it's not really going anywhere. HUSA. HUSA. Poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. However, it has been moving pretty much parabolic recently on a short-term basis. So overall, the stock is favorable for the aggressive to speculative traders out there. How do you do that on the desktop? How do I do what on the desktop? AEP. AEP. Good long-term potential, less risk associated with it. You're in a steady uptrend. Overall, the stock is favorable. Yeah, but how do I do what with the desktop? I'm trying to figure out what you're referring to that I did with the desktop there. Let's see. Making sure VLO. VLO. Good long-term potential, less risk associated with the stock. You are in a really strong short-term uptrend. So overall, stock is definitely favorable here. Let's EGY. EGY. Good long-term potential, but a little bit more risk associated with it. It is in a strong uptrend currently, so overall, the stock is favorable here. Let's see. REI. Wrong button. There we go. REI. Good long-term potential, but does have more risk associated with it. You're in a strong uptrend on a short-term basis. So overall, stock is favorable. MGY. A lot of oil and gas stocks. As we know, oil and gas has pretty much been one of the only plays we've seen over the last 6 months or so. And it's still defying all gravity and still moving strong higher or moving upward here. MGY, good long-term potential, but does have more risk associated with it. You're in a really strong short-term uptrend. So overall, the stock is still favorable. OXY. OXY, good long-term potential, but a little less risk associated with it. Still a nice strong uptrend. Overall, stock is favorable. Hey, Maria, glad to have you here. Hey, not a problem. Glad to see you here today. AWK, let's go take a look. AWK, poor long-term potential, but a little bit better than average risk involved or safety involved with this stock. It's basically flat on a short-term basis. So overall, stock's not favorable. And for you, Maria, I'll go back and take a look at Amazon again since you were getting here a little late. I won't hold it against you. So Amazon, poor long-term potential, but decent fundamentals. It is in a strong decline. So overall, the stock is not favorable right now. Crocs, CROX. Crocs, good long-term potential, but does have a little less risk associated with it when compared to the average stock out there. However, it is in a really strong short-term decline. Overall, it's a good stock, but you need to see that timing pick back up before we'd ever get back into it. SKY. SKY, good long-term potential, solid fundamentals, so less risk associated with it. However, the timing is the big issue. Overall, it's a good stock, but you need to see the timing pick back up. Did I do PDC? Well, let's make sure. PDCE. We'll do a couple more here today. PDCE. So good long-term potential, less risk associated with it. Really strong short-term uptrend. So overall, the stock is still favorable. TGT. TGT, good long-term potential, less risk associated with it. However, that RS is definitely declining here, especially after that last quarterly earnings. The stock has been in a strong decline. So overall, stock's about average, but with that timing at 0.45, highly recommend staying away until we see that timing pick back up. SJT. So we looked at this one earlier. SJT had good long-term potential, but it did incur a little bit more risk associated with it than the average stock out there. Even with the 11% drop that we've seen here today so far, it still is in a strong short-term uptrend. Yes, a 11% drop today is, a pretty big move to the downside. But when you look at what it's done, it's gone from $6 a share at the beginning of March to 14 and some change as of yesterday. So yeah, I mean, $1.62 a share. So it's gone up $8 a share and dropping $1.62. I mean, definitely want to be careful with it, but with it being a more aggressive stock, you can expect these bigger swings on it. And also when you zoom out and look at the grand scheme of things, this stock has had a substantial run. And so therefore, of course, we're going to see some profit taking going on. And the 11% move to the downside isn't as strong, or isn't a huge move when you consider the run that it's been on. Why do you think Zim has come down so hard? Maybe those crazy dividend taxes. I mean, the dividend was cool. Everybody was talking about it. But at the same time, that was a one-time dividend. Nobody's going to be they're not going to be paying $20 a share roughly every month or every quarter. And everybody jumped into that play just to capture that dividend there. But now that the dividend is gone, you've taken away the apple or the carrot there. people are losing interest. CPG, let's go take a look. CPG also, there is the fact that Zim, if I'm not mistaken, we'll go take a look at it in a second. CPG though, good long-term potential, less risk associated with it, in a strong uptrend. Overall, stock is favorable. Let's go see Zim. ZIM. Zim integrated coming down. Yeah, transportation and shipping. So if you look at what's been going on, there's still supply chain issues, but also you see what's going on at Target. And you're going to probably see this with other big retailers or wholesalers out there where they're building up they've basically overshot trying to get their inventories back on track. They were way under fulfilled at a lot of these big chains. And so they've been trying and, pushing to fill those inventories back up to their typical, levels there. Well, all of a sudden they were, because you couldn't know if, you'd have two potential wholesalers that you're going to go to. You didn't know which one was going to actually be able to get the goods that you asked them for. So you made an order at both of them. And you expected, one of them not to go through, one of them to go through. That way you have a backup plan. Well, all of a sudden they both come through and now you've got double the amount of goods that you had. So your inventories are back up quicker and now getting overfilled. And so you're having an excess of inventory that you didn't really want to have. So all of a sudden, just like if you remember 2007, 2008, same situation happened just with different commodities or different products there. You saw inventories were low, then all of a sudden inventories started going up, and then they ballooned basically, and they couldn't empty that inventory quick enough to keep it off the books. And that's what slowed everything down. That slowed their growth down. They were preparing for this big push, and that big push never came. And then all of a sudden, nobody was buying these products and they had too much of it on hand. That takes away your profits and hurts your overall profitability from the company's standpoint. I think that's what we'll probably see. You saw that with Target, where they're announcing they're doing some big discounts on a lot of their products they have in the store. Because why? They have too much inventory on hand. So I kind of expected this. I talked about it a while ago. They're overshooting what they expected, and by the time they finally got caught up to where they needed to be, the demand is already starting to go down. So supply was going up, demand was already coming down. They were basing it off of supply and demand, let's say, being up here, and now all of a sudden demand started coming down, and they met that supply side quicker than they expected, and then all of a sudden they have all this extra inventory here. So yeah, I mean, that's slowing down the shipping aspect as well. The whole reason for that, I know is a long-winded rant, apologize for that, but the whole reasoning for that though is, now they have to slow down their inventory, they have to slow down their ordering, so you could see a potential slowdown in shippers. They're not needing to put such a high pace on getting their inventory in, so therefore they're willing to wait maybe a little longer, which could slow down the demand for shippers. So yeah, I think there's definitely some potential worry if you're in the shipping, if you're in shipping stocks that you need to be concerned, or that you need to pay attention to. All right, and one last one, VLO for Jay. He's been asking. I apologize for that, Jay, but let's do VLO. VLO, good long-term potential, less risk associated with it. You're in a really strong uptrend, so overall, the stock is definitely favorable. All right, so with that, let's go ahead. Take a look at the homepage, see what's going on. Real quick, I'm just going to go ahead and delete these. There we go. So looking at the major indices, the Dow is down still about 0.5%. NASDAQ is down over about 0.5%, same as the S&P. VectorVest Composite, however, down 0.8%. So showing a little bit more bearishness than what we're seeing with the three big indices. That still has us 2 ticks into the red, therefore the color guard is somewhat bearish, and VectorVest does not advocate buying any stocks at this time. If we scroll down, still seeing the same situation. 2 red lights showing up in the RT and buy to sell ratio. Those really haven't moved too much. RT maybe have picked up a little bit, maybe a hundredth of a tick there. Price has gone down a little bit more. Buy to sell ratio stayed about flat so far. Then we look at the advanced declines. 19% of stocks moving higher. And of course, on June 9th, 69% of stocks moving lower. So very appropriate for today. And then 12% of stocks unchanged here today. So still meeting that 2-to-1 bias, or well over that 2-to-1 bias to the downside. So if you're playing the market to the downside, obviously today's a good day to be doing so. So on that, it's been my pleasure being with you guys. Thank you all for tuning in here. If you haven't already, smash that like button, hit that like button now. If you're not already a subscriber to the VV Nation, make sure to click on that red subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything and keeps you up to date with all the events and all the content we have coming out for you. Also, as always, at 2 p.m. Eastern today, Glenn Tompkins has his Trending Thursdays, where he covers what news is making the markets here today, what you need to be aware of, and how that could have an impact on your own trading. So if you want to see what's hot and what's not, make sure to come back around 2 p.m. and hang out with Glenn and show him the support you guys have shown me. So on that, have a great weekend, everybody. Take care, be safe out there, and until next time, toodles.